Hello and welcome to the Hollywood podcast. We are here on YouTube as well. So, anybody who's tuning in, you can actually watch on YouTube today too, because I have a wonderful guest with me, Joyce Brinton. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you here. And I'm going to give you guys a little info about Joyce, and then I'll let her share even more about herself. But she is a energy coach. She is the energy lady. If you see her on YouTube, she's got a lot of videos. I get emails from her, the energy ladies in town. She's doing videos every Friday. I love it. And her work is so beautiful, amazing. She's a facilitator for change, a catalyst for those seeking freedom, peace, power, and joy, and love, in my opinion. And she's got a master's degree in counseling and educational psychology. Her company is Healing Evolution. She's so much more than that. Joyce, did I miss anything you want to share and let people know, or should we just dive in?
We just dive in.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So I got Joyce on here. She agreed to come on and we were want to talk about energy mastery and energy work and how and why it's important, what we can do, what we use it for. And she's got tons of stories. She's even got a book out. She's an author. She's a wonderful woman. Let's dive in. Let's dive in on this energy mastery.
Okay. So, a lot of people are familiar with energy these days. They're getting more and more familiar, I should say, and more interested, which is really cool because there's energies in everything, absolutely everything. People say they have money problems. Well, there's energy and money.
Hmm.
People say they have problems with their bodies, their health. Well, it's because of energy, and their relationships. It's because of energy. And if things aren't going well with their work, it's because of energy. And so energy is becoming a more talked about subject where years ago it used to be like, that's kind of weird, kind of woo woo.
Hmm.
It's becoming more and more, I think, more and more of an interest to people.
Yeah,
And
it's almost like trending a lot of it. And it's not
yes,
like on the fringe and the outskirts. It's not like the weirdos are talking about it. It's getting pretty mainstream with people.
yeah. And also people who are, and there's nothing wrong with Western medicine, but there are people who have been frustrated with Western medicine. So
Mhm.
they're looking for options. What else
Yeah,
is out there for me if this isn't working? And energy work works.
it
Yeah.
does.
Oh, yeah. I've had a million experience, not a million. That's exaggerating. Hundreds of experiences with people that have come in with either ailments or injuries, and it helps heal it just
I
by cleaning
love
up the energy.
the idea that the energy work is not just for like, oh, it's going to be my emotions and oh, I feel better that way. It's like I physically feel better. So for anybody listening, watching, I have done and trained with Joyce. I've done this energy mastery coursework that she does, and I use it. And I'm not as good about using it daily, but in time I think of Joyce, I think, okay, I got to do my daily cleanses and everything that comes with that because it makes a difference and it makes mental clarity. It gives me my body's healthier. I use it on my kids when a little boo boo happens or when a big boo boo happens. I
Yes,
invite them to use it. I use this cord cutting technique that you have, and there's a lot to it. And I think it's not just about like, oh, I feel good. It's like I physically feel good. I'm grounded and I have health and I'm centered in my body. There's a lot to it, energy, and this particular energy mastery that you do is really comprehensive. And so I was like, I'm so glad to share it with people.
it is. It is, and I like the word even comprehensive. It's all encompassing. I've worked with other practitioners who do energy work, but not energy mastery work. That this is called Energy Mastery Foundations, the technique that I teach, and it's a technology it's a system that's put together that works phenomenally. And other energy workers that I've worked with, when I work with them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is cool. This is like a system." And
It's
I said, "Yeah,
comprehensive. Yeah.
it is. It's like all encompassing. And that's what I love about it because I like things that tell me, I'm a cook. I like to cook.
Hmm.
I don't really follow recipes anymore, but I learned to cook by following recipes.
Right.
That's how I learned to cook.
That's where
And
you start.
yeah, and so it's the same thing with energy work, having a recipe. In the class, I have a workbook and I have recipes. I have protocols for
Yes.
the most common ailments. It's like we got a recipe. So somebody has arthritis. Okay, we got a recipe for that. you
Hmm.
know
I
And
loved
that's
it
what
when you
I
had like
call
the
it.
COVID recipe slash
Yeah.
protocol. It's just like, okay, COVID's rampant right
Yes.
now. Let's do this. You even have a migraine protocol.
Yes.
So it's like
Yes.
these physical ailments, and you have also the emotional, experiential ailments, which is like
Yes.
the anxiety, right? Because
Yes. Yes.
there's so much anxiety out there, right? Lots of people are talking about it and experiencing it. So having a protocol to deal with anxiety in the moment and
Yeah.
be able to do that. And I don't know if we said this, but you can do this work on yourself. That's
The
huge.
best part. That is
Yeah,
to me the
right?
best part. And that is something that not all, and I'm not even knocking the energy workers. I'm just saying the ones I've worked with that come from different backgrounds, they're like weren't taught or don't work on themselves.
Hmm.
And I work on myself every single day. I will not leave my bedroom in the mornings without working on myself. Because the minute I leave my room, I'm distracted. I got stuff to do, and things are going on. If I leave my bedroom in the morning without doing my energy cleanse on myself, then it's over.
The
So
day's a little
I just
harder, huh?
yeah, I just don't leave the bedroom because I know that I will get too distracted and there will things that will pull me away from it. So
Right.
it's really essential for me to work on myself.
So I hear a lot about people doing a daily practice. And so this must be part of your daily practice. Is it the whole thing? Is it every morning, afternoon, evening? Like how often do you bring this into your daily life? I mean, every
Well,
minute, right? But
every morning I do an energy cleanse on myself.
very
But
cool.
then I do a meditation, I do
So
my
there's a lot involved.
exercises.
Okay.
I have about an
Can
hour and a
tailor
half.
it.
Yeah, I have about an hour and a half protocol of stuff that I do on myself every morning.
So
But
of that hour and a half, how much is this energy cleanse that you got to do?
it's a good question. Only takes me about 15 minutes to do an energy
So
cleanse on myself.
that's good news because I mean, not everybody's going to sit there for an hour and a half and have the
No,
attention
no.
span or like, I mean, I've got kids, you know me, and it's like, okay, but 15 minutes to make my
Yes.
day better. And I'm
Yes.
telling everyone because I have experienced that when I do my energy cleanses, life is smoother, life is easier
Yes.
instead of like getting snagged and hanging on to and hooking in with like the day to day. I'm just like, oh, that's happening. And I can keep moving. Like I don't get snagged by that stuff when I do
Right.
my cleanses in the morning. So I
Right.
that's so simple and such a good offering to yourself every day. Like a way that's self-care. I think we were talking about this earlier,
Yeah.
me and Joyce, but
Yeah.
that's a good way to start the day. So you do it in
That's
the
the
morning.
ultimate self-care, really. The ultimate self-care is to clean your energy so that you're not a sponge for everybody else's energy and everybody else's junk. You
That's
know, you want to keep
yeah,
yourself
key.
clear so everybody else's stuff is theirs and your stuff's yours, and let's keep it separate. So I mean I do them in the mornings. If I have a really wild day, then I'll do a cleanse myself at night too. It
Does
just
that help you dream better or just
sleep better.
peacefully
Just
sleep?
yeah, just sleep better.
That's
And
good
and
news.
another little tip is to take a salt bath. I take a salt bath every night.
Oh, I love it.
So, salt bath and just regular table salt.
That's the
Four
cool thing about
cups.
that. It's just
4 cups of
regular
table salt. Yeah, it's not Himalayan. It's not whatever the other one is, Epsom.
Epsom, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
It's just
great.
regular
Those are
table
good.
salt.
But
Yeah.
regular table salt can get the job done because it's that
Yeah.
conductor and like taking energy off and helping cleanse you. I
Yeah.
think how much better could we sleep if we were doing this energy cleanse right before bed? Because if you're ingesting social media, if you have a job, if you are working from home in your relationships, if you like there's so much going on in life. Why not be sovereign in your energy? And this work
Oh
helps
yeah.
clean out your energetic field. And oftentimes, I'm of the opinion is that stuff starts out in our energy field and it makes its way in deeper. And that's when it manifests physically. Because we have all these like energetic bodies. And so if out in our energy field it's messy and there's something out there, it's gonna move in. And maybe it's a thought that we hung on to, but let's clean that stuff out. So does it clean out thoughts? Would you describe it that way? Like what are we cleaning out with these cleanses?
Well, it like you said, our energy fields around us, and I call it Poopyville. It gets
Nice.
poopy, the poopy
Uh-huh.
energy, and that poopy energy does eventually set in the body and make people sick.
Mm-hmm.
So people who don't clean up their energy and they have a lot of negative thoughts, which also swirl around in their energy field, then that eventually sets in and makes us sick. And so keeping your energy field clean also makes you healthier physically. So
Love that.
you get, now the mind chatter stuff. I used to have so much mind chatter. My husband used to say I could write novels, the crap in my brain. I
Mhm.
mean, like
I
it
get
was
that.
nonstop, nonstop. And now that since I started, and I started 8 years ago to do energy cleansing, since
Oh
I
my gosh,
started
it's been a
this,
while.
since I started doing it on myself every day, I do not have that. I do
I
not have.
like the idea of just having my own thoughts because I have a brain that's like, I'll hear lots of different thoughts and ideas and I can try them on and so forth. But I have to take that time to be like in my own energy to just hear my thoughts. And when I've let in all of these other thoughts and kind of hung on to them or, oh, judge them, then like I need a way to cleanse those off so I can just hear me and get attuned and centered in my body and being. And I think this tool is a great way to do that. And maybe that goes for people's emotions or their heart center, because this work also is attacking. That sounds wrong. No, that's not the word I want to use, but it's addressing. That's the word I want to use. Each of the chakras and, different chakra centers than just the seven. And so I think that's another thing to know. There's protocols in this work, and then it addresses the energetic bodies and not just, the basic seven, but some of the other ones too. And the
Yeah.
other ways our aura functions, the strata. And there's a lot to it. Again, comprehensive.
Yes. Yeah, there is a lot to, and that's why actually the class I teach is a 2-day class because there's a lot to teach. And I teach it with the thought of, when you learn to read, you learn, first of all, the first thing children learn in preschool is letters,
Mhm.
right? Once they learn those letters, then they learn how to put those letters together, and then they learn how to sound out a word. And that's exactly how I teach a 2-day energy class. It's like, I'm going to teach you the letters of energy first. Then I'm going to teach you how to put it together in words. And then I'm going to teach you how to put it together in a protocol. Because
That sounds good.
it's literally it is a system where you're just going to learn from the start, from the very beginning. And so anybody can learn it.
That's what I
Some
was going to
people are like,
ask.
yeah, some people are like, oh, do I have to have a history in
Yeah,
this?
no prereqs, huh?
And what if I don't feel energy? What if I don't see energy? It's okay. You don't have to. When I first started, I didn't I still don't see energy. I feel it, I smell it,
I
sense
love
it,
it.
you know, but when I first started, I didn't feel it. I didn't experience anything with it. And it doesn't matter. It still works.
I agree. Yeah, it still works, regardless of your sensation of it. It's still something's happening, and you do get the results. And would you say they're instantaneous results every time? Does it take time to settle in? Because sometimes when energy work happens, there's this like, why am I not fixed immediately? And then I notice a couple days later, like, oh, hey, I don't do that thing anymore, or I'm not so reactive, or I didn't get snagged by that conversation over there.
Yeah, it definitely, there are some instantaneous, and then there are some that a day or two later, even a couple hours later, feel
Mhm.
better. I had a really cool experience with a neighbor of mine who was in a motorcycle accident,
Oh.
and he had flown over his motorcycle, and the handlebars hit the inside of his thigh, and there was like a cantaloupe size hematoma on his thigh.
Oh,
And the
oh,
doctor just said, it's going to take probably 6 to 9 months. You're just going to have to massage it. Well,
oh,
he couldn't even touch it. It was so painful.
yeah,
So when I talked to him about it, he's a statistician. He's a brain.
yeah.
This kind of work was just like weird to him.
Hmm.
But when I told him I could help him, he said, well, I'll try it. So he came over. I did one session with him. And at the end of the session, he said, what's really weird, Joyce, is when you were working on that area, my thigh, I could almost feel it shrinking.
Mm.
He said, well, go home and look. So he went home and then he called me and he said, it is like 3/4 smaller, or like
Wow.
a fourth of it had shrunk.
Oh, like
Is
a
what,
quarter of, it's a
yeah,
quarter
a quarter of it.
smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he said, and I can touch it. It's not
That's
so
big too.
much. Yeah. And so he's like, this is some pretty crazy hippie shit. And I'm coming back,
Right?
you know?
Yeah, I'm here
So
for it.
yeah, he's like, it's pretty weird, but you know what? I'm up for it because this works. And I have had experiences like that instantaneous. Sure.
That's awesome. So you don't have to have like the faith or the intention necessarily for it to have an effect on you.
No. I had one person, only one, in the last 8 years that came in pretty much forced by his wife. And
Ah,
he had some ringing in his ears, and he didn't want to be here. And
yeah, that makes a
I could
difference.
sense it from his energy, and so after doing an energy cleanse on him, I said, how you doing? He goes, no different.
Hmm.
And I said, did you want to be here today? And he goes, no. this is weird. I don't want to be here. My wife made me be here. And I said, you know what?
Oh,
It's okay. I said, if you'd like it to work, you can allow it to work. And I just sent him on his way.
yeah,
And,
agency.
yeah. And if he felt better, I don't know. I don't know, you
Hey,
know,
if you felt better, guy, and you're listening, for some, come reach out, tell Joyce what the experience was.
right?
That makes sense, though. As I feel like we just have to open the door a crack and say,
Uh-huh.
I'm that much willing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have this, this huge faith that it's going to work. The door's totally open. It's just like, don't close the door. You can have it open a crack and still receive. This work will just slip in there anyways. And that, so I work with my kids and using this energy mastery foundations tool. And they notice a difference and they might like I got a young kid who's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, she'll tell me like not to take it from her. Sometimes I'm like, okay, can I take the energy off? Like I give it over to Christ and the divine and to the earth. And she's like, no, don't do it. And she'll want to like keep it for a while. And I'm like, okay, you got your agency if that's what you want to do. But more often than not, my kids are, okay, yeah, take the energy off, or I'll, what's that word? Empower them to do it for themselves. And they'll do it for each other. If they accidentally hit each other, they're, oh, okay, let me take the energy off. Sorry. And honestly, I think it's different than a sorry or an apology. It's not like a, oh yeah, sorry. It's like a, hey, I could do something to help you. And, there's so much more behind it. And I think, again, that's another beautiful thing about this work is that it's not surface level, but it's as easy as if you're on the surface doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like gruel and spend 8 hours meditating to make it work. You're
Right.
doing your cleanses and then you're offering it. And I think in combination with I don't know, all the energies that are for this, it's just like love, right? It gets to clean off and go. And I'm like, it's magic. I just love it. It's
It
made a huge difference in
really
my
is
life.
magic. Yeah,
It
it is
is.
magical and it is miraculous, really. Um, I love being able to help my grandchildren. I have teenage grandchildren who will call me. They don't live here. Now, that's the cool thing about energy work also is energy's not local.
Hmm.
So I can do energy. I have clients all over the United States, and so I can work on people everywhere. And my grandsons live in Idaho, and so they'll call me. They're skateboarders. They
Uh,
told me, I got hurt. Can you help me? Da da da. And I love the fact that I can help them,
right? From
remotely.
afar. Yeah. You don't have to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I had a couple clients that were in Europe on vacation last week. And so they're calling me from France. Can you work on me? You
Please, I
know,
need some
like
help.
pretty cool. I love being able to do that. So
So, does it have to be like an acute injury, bodily harm, or like what are some other things that people could be using this for? Because I heard, we've got daily routine in the morning to kind of, if you're asking me to like have a clearer day, a smoother day, and not be so in your head, and then you can do it at night as another kind of routine, clean everything off, and then a kind of acute injuries. When else can people use this, and like what else are people calling you for to get you to work on them?
pain. They have
Pain.
pain in their back, you know.
Okay.
So I have protocols
Like
for
chronic.
yeah, yeah. Anxiety, big one.
Mm, that's right.
Coughs. A lot of people are getting coughs. So I have a cough and respiratory protocol that I work on people a lot, do a lot of cleanses on people. Insomnia. People have
Oh,
a hard time
nice.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not migraines. That's another biggie. People
Hmm.
who get migraines. And so, they'll just call and say, hey, I have a migraine, or hey, I got a cold and a cough. Can you work on me? And so yeah.
So,
So it's
what
a lot
are
of
the long-term effects of like receiving this kind of cleansing? What do you think? I know like here, research, did you complete a study on this, Joyce? But have you noticed people that are working with this over the long term, you don't see things come back? Or is it like, hey, we're living life, stuff happens? Or is there a pattern that you notice the more you use this, the more you get blank?
um I
I know I'm
don't
like,
know.
maybe that was a
I'm just
scattered
my
question.
own personal experience, from my own personal experience. I definitely I'm a different human than I was 8 years ago. I'm not the same human. I am not high strung. I would say 8, 10 years ago, before I started doing this, I was kind of hyper. You know,
Yeah.
I don't drink caffeine because my heart races when I drink it. And you would think I was drinking caffeine because I was pretty hyper.
Yeah.
And and I would say I'm much more zen than I've ever been.
So zen. I know you to
So
be so zen. Yeah.
do you feel like that
And I
about me?
remember some other,
I feel that way about
yeah,
myself.
I
Oh yeah.
agree. Yeah. Like the true you is definitely shining through, and it's not so. I think for other people as well, when we're using this tool, instead of us being a reaction to everything energetically around us, we get to be like sourced from the inside and like our divine selves. And that gets to fill our energy container instead of like the gunk, the outside coming in and oh, we think that's us, all these thoughts or emotions that fly around and energies. When we clean those out, our true self gets to like flow forward and that gets to be us. So yeah, yeah, you're zen and you have a good amount of energy, but you're not like,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I have plenty of energy to do whatever I want, and
"Mhm,
gratefully so. I'm super grateful that I have
me
a
too.
body that's
Thanks.
healthy and functional,
Thank you.
and I
Thank
can
you.
do
Thank
what I
you.
want, you know. But I also attribute it to energy mastery. You know, I've had people tell me they think I look younger
Yeah.
um, than I did when I started, you know, and so there's there's a lot of good things that come from it. So, but I would say the probably the most common protocol I do on myself is anxiety, because
Yeah.
there are times I'll wake up feeling anxious, you know,
Mm.
just about all that I need to get done.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and once I do that anxiety, or sometimes I'll even be sad. I'll wake up sad and I'll be crying, you know, and I
Yeah.
can start my cleanse and halfway in the middle of crying, I'm stopped crying and I'm okay.
You're like, yes, win.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just even with myself, but then I watch it with clients. I've had clients who have had pain. In fact, a recent client who had like a car accident
Oh,
and who had pain in their where they were hurt, in their ankle, their wrist, their back, their neck, that kind of thing. And
yeah. They
after
get
just after even
messed
just
around.
one session, she said she felt better. So
Ooh,
it's
I
pretty
feel
cool.
like that speaks to opening up the channels in the body, the chi, the prana, to be able to do what they're already good at. And when we get into some kind of trauma or, collision, that in that case, those energies stop flowing. There's like a block, or maybe not a block, or like a kink, or like a twist, or something, choke, whatever of the energy. And then this gets to, cleanse those off. I'm like, I don't know, I just like it works. Even if you think, well, that doesn't make sense, or like, I don't know about where's the science on that. It's like just try it. Just try it out and see how it goes. And I've loved it. And I've come back again to just brush up on it. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm like learning more. And I've seen the gifts in this work improve. And kind of by that I mean like there are different protocols and these different things that we learn how to do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I feel the difference with this, the way you've told me to do this tool. I maybe missed that piece before. And now this is really great. And so we're talking about energy mastery, the foundational course, but there is more to that. I feel like there's some crystals. Like, can you share any info on that? Are there like more advanced courses
Well, I
that
do. Yes, there is
teach?
advanced course. I teach a crystals course. You have to take my beginner's foundation course first,
Makes
and then
sense.
I teach a 2-day crystals course, and actually
Yummy.
using crystal wand. And using a crystal wand is like having 100 hands. So
Mm.
it really amplifies off the cleansing. And so I use the crystal with those who, in fact, especially those with ailments or injuries. I make sure I use that. And then there
So,
are some people who just hire me and just say, "Can you just do an entire crystal cleanse on me?" Yep.
yes.
And I also have a facelift protocol that I do with people,
Oh,
and
hey.
I crystal with that. So,
So we can avoid Botox or,
oh yeah,
facelift and surgeries and injections or whatever other people just by cleaning our energy and this facelift. Is it a protocol? It's a whole course. Am I
it's a
correct?
protocol that I have to have 10 sessions
Oh, to
um,
to
or
complete
to
to get the
complete.
results.
Yeah, yeah. And we
Interesting.
focus on one area of the face. It's like I don't do an
Oh, okay.
entire face. It's
It'd
like
be like
one
the
area.
eyes. or something.
here, here, wherever,
Okay, cheeks or
wherever the
mouth
person,
or
yeah, wherever the person wants to focus on, then that's where I focus on for those 10 sessions.
interesting. And
And
when I think about the energy that might build up in the frown lines, like,
oh yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
for me, I'm like if you can watch the video, like I scrunch this all the time. I'm always thinking, and I'm not sure, and I don't know, and I've got these scrunches right between my eyebrows. And then, anybody who's doing my eyebrows up, I'll keep my little smile lines by my eyes. I'm cool with those. No,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, think of the energy that we're doing, creating and absorbing when we're scrunching and, doing these
Yeah.
movements with our faces. It
Think
just kind of,
about what you do with your face,
mhm,
when you're staring at a computer all day, those who are staring at the computer, are you smiling at it? Or are you frowning at it? Are you, right? What are you doing with your face? It's kind of just be conscious of that. That's my first little tip for
be
you.
conscious of
For
what's
you, be
going on
your
with your
own
face.
facelift by just being conscious of what you do with your face.
I like that. Okay. I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch this and be like, what was my face doing the whole time?
Yeah.
And what am I bringing into my life by that? I feel like there's a really nice and beautiful lesson in there. So it's a 10 sessions with the facelift, but I think that you can learn a lot about yourself in
Oh,
that. So do you have to do those in session? I mean, excuse me, in person.
yeah. The first two I need in person, then I can do them remote.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. And it's a lifestyle change for the person who's doing the facelift. And there's a lot to it. This
Okay,
is
it's not
probably a
just show
podcast
up.
on its own.
Oh,
But
okay. It's not
but
just
yeah,
show up by itself. It's like they get to do
no,
some of
you
their
get to do
own
your part.
work.
Yeah. The person who's getting the
Very
facelift,
cool.
they have a contract they have to sign that they're going to do their part too.
Okay, so facelifts coming your way, everybody. Get in with Joyce. And do they have to take the core class in order to receive
No.
these? Okay, so those you can just show up for. Well, in that sense, you got to commit to the doing the work, though. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
that's beautiful. And then
Yeah.
the wands class, do they have to have their own wand, or does that come with the
No, I
class?
provide that. That comes with the class.
Very
It's a
cool.
full
And do
crystal
you have
wand.
to know about crystals? I mean, I know that they'll do your core class and then, okay, but you don't even have to know about that. So you don't have to be like in the know on all those things. Joyce has got the information for
I
you.
didn't
And
know a
again,
thing when I
comprehensive.
first did. Yeah, when I first did my first crystals class, I didn't know a thing about them.
Yeah. Were you like against crystals and energy work
No, I just
ever?
didn't really know much about them.
Okay.
Now I still would not tell you I'm completely knowledgeable about crystals at all. I mean,
Can
I
we
have a book
be?
that I read what stones are and what they do,
Right.
but I know how to use the crystal to do energy healing, and it's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's very, very in-depth training. It's like we're talking the energy mastery is comprehensive. Well, the crystal one is like really
In
comprehensive,
depth.
really in
Ah,
depth.
that's awesome. And
Yes,
again, it still works with energetic systems, the chakras, the auras,
yes,
and okay.
yeah.
Well, very cool. That's exciting. There's a lot to this. So, is there anybody who shouldn't be receiving these sessions or taking this core class, this energy mastery core class? Okay. So it's like if you have diabetes or if you're, 5 years old, you can, I mean, obviously my kids use it, but yeah, so there's nobody this wouldn't be beneficial for.
I would probably
No
say not
restrictions
younger than 12. I would say maybe
to
not younger.
teach.
Maybe a 10-year-old could take it if they're really into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm
But
like,
yeah,
I don't trust my kids. No, I'm kidding. I would wait till they were older, is what I mean. That's awesome. So, and you could do it anywhere. I love that. And sounds like any time because people are calling you. It's an acute thing, and it shows up when it shows up. If you do it to someone in France, does it take longer or is it instantaneous? I know it's like I know what I think,
they
but what do
didn't
you
say
say?
it did, so well, still
That's
worked. Yeah.
so. Is there any other way that you would say this changed your life? Because we kind of talked about like you're looking younger, your energy's different, but has it affected those people around you?
Oh, I think for sure. For one, I think people interact differently to me. It's it's little things, but my energy is not abrasive. And
Mm,
so here's a silly example that I went to my niece's graduation at ASU the other night, and her grandpa, who's my brother-in-law, is has a handicap. So we were taking the shuttle thing.
oh,
And
okay.
I asked the guy who was driving the shuttle, I just asked him, I said, do you know where this parking lot is? Because I parked and I don't know where it's at now.
Right.
And he said, I'll take you. And I said, oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. And so when I got off the shuttle, I said, thank you so much. And he said, you know what? I helped you because you are a kind person.
Hi.
And I went, well,
I'll take it.
okay. And he said, not very many people are kind to me. You're very kind to me. And I
Oh,
thought, all I did is ask him, please take me,
yeah.
or
Treat him like a
please
human.
show me where I'm at going. But I'm not reactive. Um, I don't get angry easily. Um, I just feel like things are different inside of me so that I don't have the same kind of energy that I did at one time.
Yeah.
I
I
don't take offense easily. Um,
You're not as reactive, I feel like you don't
no,
have to jump into fear and like judgment about like I gotta keep safe. It's like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
safe where I'm at, and so I don't have to worry and about everybody else as much. Because I was
yeah,
gonna say too, I've noticed, I don't know if it's, I feel like it started after Energy Mastery. You also have this practice of you go take food to those in Phoenix who are without a home and they're living in tents and stuff. And I know those people enjoy you guys coming out there. And first of all, that's impressive and thank you. Do you feel like you would have been, would you have done that as easily before Energy Mastery? Do you think it's had an effect on stuff like that, the service that you do, the interaction you have with
um,
humans that you don't even know?
probably has an effect on humans. I don't know, but I grew up feeding homeless people, so
Oh,
so
yes.
it's like that. It's
Whole
never
time.
bothered me. Some
Okay.
people, whenever I invite people to help us, some people are afraid. Some people are afraid of the homeless people, and a lot of them are addicts. That's okay. I don't care. I have never, ever, ever felt threatened.
That's good.
Whenever I've fed the homeless, I don't go there with any fear. And
And
some people have been afraid, and so it's good for them to see that.
is there a protocol for fear with the Energy Mastery?
I do anxiety.
Oh, duh. Okay, that makes sense. So it's really a very versatile tool,
Oh yeah,
comprehensive, and dare I say, that makes the simplicity makes it easy to learn, if you ask me. It's
yeah,
I don't know, it's somewhat repetitive in a good way. Whereas like, okay, I'm doing this particular portion again, and or this hand gesture, or this kind of well, not kind of cleanse, but something, it's simple in that way. And then the protocols, it's very organized. I really like the tool, and I use it with my clients. My husband loves it. Loves it. So is this a hands-on tool? Is this well, I know that we can do it across countries, but do you ever do hands-on with it, or is it always like I'm just outside of your energy field?
I don't ever touch the body. It's literally
Okay.
just, I call it washing their windows. You know,
Mm.
our windows get dirty and muddy, which makes it hard to see out. And that's why sometimes we have to work so hard to just get through a day. Because if your energy field's really muddy, it's complicated to actually see anything very clearly. So if I wash your windows, you can see things clearly, and that just makes it so much more ease. There's a lot more grace and ease in that.
Definitely. Yeah, again, don't get like snagged. So there's an opportunity here for people to just receive this cleanse from you, to take the course with you and then continue that education. And they can already be, like this great guru and energy, but they can also be somebody who's like, I don't know, it called to me. I'm just calling you now and I just want to sign up. So do you have a class that's coming up that we can share with everybody?
I do actually. I have an Energy Mastery Foundations class on June 9th and 10th, and it's
Ooh.
here in Gilbert. I hold my classes at the Hampton Inn on Higley and I-60 in Gilbert.
Okay.
And
Gilbert, Arizona. Sweet.
and then I have a crystals class coming in October 27th and 28th. So
Ooh, mark your
yeah,
calendars. Okay, crystal class but first the foundation class coming up in
first
June.
foundation classes in June, and then I have another one in September.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's September. So there's two opportunities to get into that so that you can then
Yes,
get into the crystal class
yes,
and just start cleaning your energy and frankly have a better life, because that seems
yes.
to be the case here. You're
It
looking
is far.
younger, you
Yeah,
feel it better, your kids do better, those
yeah,
around you are
everything.
feeling healthy. It's made a really huge difference in my life, and just a simple cord cutting technique. And that has been huge because I feel like our attention is always being asked for and demanded by the stuff around us, particularly social media, Holly doing podcasts to you. No, but it's if we can't, we want to curate what we internalize. And when we can't do that, and we're getting blasted by advertisements or I don't know, people yelling, or we just, this is the life we have. This energy tool can make a difference in getting back to yourself, who you are, your own energy, and releasing off energy that's not yours. So everyone do it. I'm like, everyone get in on this. It's
Yes.
good stuff.
No, and if people want to know more on my website, they can go and they can book a free consultation, which just is
Very
like a
cool.
10-minute phone call with me to ask more questions that they have about, really, is this what I want to do? Or, or how can you help
Yeah.
me? So, that's a complimentary thing. And then those who are listening here, I can offer you the same thing that I offer when I do energy clinics. And that is your first time session would be half price for $100.
Wow. That's nice.
So anybody who wants to do that, you
Wrap it
can't
up.
book that on my website, so you'll have to call me for a consultation or
It's worth it.
uh, get
And
that
you
help.
hear how sweet Joyce is, and you could see how sweet she is. Like, call Joyce. She's so easy to talk to and kind and loving. And then take advantage of that. I'm just like, dang, if only I hadn't seen you before. No, I'm kidding. I'm glad to have this in my life. And so anybody who's called to this, please reach out to Joyce and get that half off session. That's an amazing price. And so if they book a session with you, they can sign up for the coursework with you too and kind of like see and feel that out. Um, that sounds exciting. So where is the best place for people to find you?
On my website, it's called yourhealingevolution.com.
Yourhealingevolution.com. And I'll have that in the show notes. And I know you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook,
I have a
and
YouTube
you're
channel.
on YouTube. So the YouTube resources, if you guys are like, still feeling out the energy, check out Joyce's YouTube. It's really good. Also comprehensive. That's like the word of the day today. But there's a lot on there, a lot of resource that, you can get into Joyce's world and then say, okay, I'm ready to take the plunge. Because I feel like some people, it's instantaneous. I know I have to call you immediately. And some people, they like to dip a toe. So that's really worth it. And if you're jumping in with Joyce, check out her website too. Just, I mean, the YouTube, all the things. So I really love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So, do you have any last energetic insights or things you'd like to share or say before we let listeners go?
I would simply say, really, if you really want to clean up your energy field and you do nothing else, take a salt bath in 4 cups.
Salt bath.
That's a really good thing. No more than 15 minutes. And then solar plexus are right here. Take your hand like a sword and cut down the front.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that.
Anytime you take offense, anytime you take a hit from somebody's energy, you walk into a room and it feels really yucky, just cut the cords.
Hmm.
If
Detach.
if somebody attacked you, verbally in some way or said something you didn't like, walk away and cut the cords. We never cut cords of love, but we can cut cords to negative energy because it's
Hmm.
not ours.
Makes a huge difference. I'm
Those are
someone who's
just
like, it comes in the solar plexus, and when I do that, I'm like, oh, whew, I can breathe again. It's good.
Yeah, yeah. So those are just a few good energy tips you can practice.
Love it. I love it. And then they're in more detail on her website, on her YouTube. So again, check those out. Take the class too.
A free video, actually a free video on my website that it'll show morning exercises, cord cutting, and grounding, so they can get that too.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Thank you. And a little ding just for fun. I don't know if anyone else heard that, but okay. So we know where to find you. We know some tips and tools, and I'm excited for people to join in on your world. And thank you again for showing up here and sharing your knowledge and wisdom and love with us. We really appreciate it. And I don't, yeah, I mean, so I want to say to listeners, just use these tools, everything that you gained here as a way to love yourself and to love yourself forward, backward, inside and out, because you are the unfolding of the universe.